realized that I wanted to be in the meeting and event industry actually when I was in an internship at the Harry S. Truman Museum and Library, and I had taken an internship there working in their marketing and public relations department. They had a special exhibit coming in from the Smithsonian Institute, and it was portraits of the presidents, and they requested that I come up with some special events to draw people from the Kansas City area to the museum. So I was like bringing in all kinds of Lincoln impersonators, Washington impersonators, and plays and things like this, and I realized I'm actually really good at this, and I wonder if I can make this into a job, which I did. So my most memorable moment at a meeting or event, there has been so many that it's really hard to say since I've been in the industry over 10 years, but I would say that I have top two, so I'm going to say my top two. My top one was actually when I was working on a trade show floor, and one of our folks that was demonstrating the Apache flight simulator, we had a pilot's wife come up and she wanted to be in the simulator, and she was like, I love that my husband flies Apaches, and I love you guys because I know that he's coming home safe. And that broke my heart because I realized that I work for a company that builds an aircraft that is going to bring our soldiers home from war safely to their families. So that really resonated down in my heart. And then my second one actually was at an MPI event, and I happened to be staying, it was the World Education Congress event, and I was staying at a hotel in Canada, and all of a sudden the entire hotel goes quiet. And for all of you in this industry, you know that's impossible because elevators ding, people are screaming, and things are going crazy. So complete silence, and the Dalai Lama walked through our hotel. And he actually, everybody was like lined up and everyone was quiet, and he asked, you know, he was just walking down with his entourage, and he was stopping and shaking people's hand. And I reached out to shake his hand, but he was past me. So he stopped, came back, shook my hand, and I thought to myself, what do I say to the Dalai Lama when you shake his hand? So I said, thank you. So I got that going for me. So if you've ever seen Caddyshack, I'm pretty good on my deathbed. So I moved to St. Louis after I graduated from college for a job working at a hotel, and the hotel actually wasn't really involved in the community, and I said, well, I want to get involved, I want to learn more, and they're like, well, we have a membership for MPI, could you be our person that goes? So of course I'm like, well, yeah, I definitely want to. So I started off that way, going to just a couple events as a guest, and then when I moved to meeting and event planning position, I told them that I really wanted to get involved, and so they actually said, well, you can, but we can't, you know, afford to pay your membership, so I paid it on my own and started to get involved, and then just joined the education committee. And from there, it's just kind of really affected my life because I was at an MPI event, having moved back home to KC, and then going to some of the Kansas City events, and then I moved back to St. Louis for a different job, and I was at an MPI event where I ran into my friend Sarah, who I hadn't seen in forever since I had been in St. Louis and moved back to Kansas City and then moved to St. Louis. I ran into her and we were chatting, and she was like, Shelby, it's so great to see you, what have you been doing? And she was going on and on and on about how much she loved her job, and I hated my job. And so when I ran into her at the next MPI event, she was like, Shelby, do you still hate your job? I'm like, oh, I do. And so she goes, we should go online because there's totally a job opening that I think that you would like. So I applied, and now I not only get to be an MPI with Sarah, but I actually get to work with Sarah. So it's actually been wonderful for me. I am Shelby Nobles, I am MPI, and I love what we do.